So breakdancing finally got a shot at the Olympic Games, yet it didn't quite go as planned. However, I do think that there are some really important things that we can learn from this. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I do appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it, and since you are here, it would just take one more click and one more second to hit that subscribe button now. And to those of you that are returning, you know that I truly appreciate you coming back, engaging in the conversation, leaving your comments, and just being overall wonderful and supportive, and I would love it if you would make sure that you are subscribed as well. I know that this story has been circulating for at least a week at this point, and it has definitely provided enough meme material to last a solid decade. This is the first year that breakdancing has been part of the Olympic Games, and unfortunately, at least for those who are hoping to make a good enough impression of this sport to solidify its place in the Olympic Games going forward, this might actually be the last time that breakdancing is part of the Olympics. I'm sure many of you have seen the clips of Australian breakdancer Rachael Gunn going viral over the last several days, and it was a performance that had most of us shaking our heads and wondering what the heck we just witnessed. If you haven't seen the routine that this breakdancer Rachael Gunn performed at the event, I'm going to try and include a small clip of it, but I do recommend going and trying to search the entire thing because it was very interesting to see. But the Olympic Games in general are cracking down on people sharing any clips from their events at all. So trying to share them on social media is very, very tricky and can get your videos or your accounts tagged with a copyright strike. So I'm going to do the best that I can. It might be on mute. I don't know. We'll see. But I just wanted to give you just a little taste of what we got to see play out. For those of us who don't really know that much about breakdancing, we can appreciate that it does take an immense level of talent, skill, strength, and technique to do this type of dance, especially when it can look like an absolute mess when it is not done well. Your body is flailing all over the place. So to make it look good and actually portray this dance as an art, you have to be incredibly talented, and it can look amazing when it's done well. But to even those of us that are not experts in this area, we can tell when it is not going well, when it doesn't look the way that it's supposed to, and when it's beyond clear that the person in the middle of the performance clearly thinks that they are far better at their craft than they really are. It truly gives me bad American Idol audition vibes. While I'm sure there are plenty of examples of the absolute butchery of breakdancing across the internet, the last place that we would expect to see that is the Olympic Games, where we know that gold, silver, and bronze levels are usually only separated by the smallest of errors in your performance, or a fraction of a point. So we don't expect to see someone so bad at their sport that they fail to score at all, which is what Rachael Gunn accomplished. She scored 0 all 3 times that she competed. So you have to wonder how somebody that bad actually makes it to the Olympic Games. So it turns out that the whole approach to getting breaking into the Olympic Games was a mess to begin with. The World Dance Sport Federation originally wanted ballroom dance to be part of the Olympic Games, but the International Olympic Committee felt that ballroom dance wouldn't be effective in attracting new viewers, particularly young viewers in the Gen Z age group. WSF proposed to include breakdancing instead, despite not really knowing anything about this area of dance, and there were a lot of people that were angry about how this played out. Since the IOC doesn't know anything about breakdancing, they recruited the WDSF to oversee the entire event, but the WDSF is a ballroom organization and they don't know anything about breakdancing, so they delegated the responsibility to smaller organizations in each country to hold different competitions to establish their top dancers and determine who to send to the Olympics and represent their country for breakdancing. In Australia's case, it is being claimed that the organization that was selected to host the competition in Australia was run by Rachael Gunn and her husband, which is how she won. So we have a scenario here where it seems like the rightful opportunity that should have gone to people that were more talented and more equipped to compete in an Olympic level event was stolen from people who actually worked for it and earned for it by someone who abused their power to take the win for themselves. And I just have to ask, where have we heard this happening before? So after Rachael Gunn performed and people were clearly questioning her ability and whether or not she was actually qualified to compete in this event, there was a lot of backlash. There were a lot of memes made, which we will treat ourselves to at the end of this video. But there was a response by the Australian chef de mission for the Paris Olympics, who was Anna Mears, and she had this to say in response to the backlash against Rachael Gunn.
What has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia. Now you look at the history of what we have had as women athletes has faced in terms of criticism, belittlement, judgment, criticism, and simple comments like they shouldn't be there. 100 years ago, leading into Paris 1924, Australia sent a team of 37 athletes. None were women. 100 years later, we have 256 women represented here, and Raygun is an absolutely loved member of this Olympic team.
Many people feel like this response was straight up gaslighting, which is exactly what it sounds like to me. Pulling this sob story about Rachael Gunn's struggles in breakdancing and implying that people are criticizing her for being a woman, not because the performance was terrible. But when she points out the challenges that women face in different areas, what doesn't help the cause is putting unqualified women into these positions. Putting anybody that is unqualified in a position against people that are qualified to be there is going to set them up for failure. And they are going to stick out like a sore thumb, and people are going to notice, and they are going to have something to say about it. And then it also doesn't help women at all when you try to manipulate people with a sob story instead of acknowledging the actual problem. And people can see right through it. Apparently there was a petition created to hold Rachael Gunn and this woman Anna Mears accountable for supposed unethical practices in the whole selection process. So this article explains a little bit about this petition. It says, Australian breakdancer Raygun, whose real name is Rachael Gunn, began trending online after her seemingly unconventional performance at the 2024 Paris Olympics last week. In the videos that have now garnered severe traction, the 36-year-old was seen exhibiting unusual moves, including squirming and hopping around the dance floor while touching her toes. In the wake of this, on August 12th, a petition was started on the Change.org platform by a person who dubbed themselves as someone who hates corruption, titled Hold Raygun, Rachael Gunn and Anna Mears accountable for unethical conduct Olympic selection, has fulfilled the original goal of 5,000 signatures in less than 24 hours. The petition alleges Rachael Gunn, who set up her own governing body for breakdancing, has manipulated the selection process to her own advantage. Despite the clear talent and qualifications of other outstanding female breakdancers like G-Clef and Holy Molly, they were unfairly overlooked, the petition read. Top off all of that, we have also found out that Rachael Gunn is a lecturer with a PhD in cultural movement, and people are alleging that she intentionally went rogue on her moves to further her research and academic studies. In this article by the Daily Mail, they did outline some of the controversial performance moves like kangaroo hopping and slithering like a snake and even using the sprinkler. Her qualifications have led to theories that Gunn used her Olympic debut to bulk up her research work and show how the inclusion of breakdancing in the Olympics could negatively affect the sport in Australia. Many have accused the professor of using the stage to protest the institutionalization of breakdancing, given her scholarly work, which argues that the subculture is at risk of being co-opted by officials, commercialized, and put through a rigid judging structure. Podcaster Hannah Borelli claimed on X that Gunn was trying to make some subversive points she can later write journal articles about. Borelli wrote, "This whole episode is demonstrative of the supreme selfishness of woke identity politics studies. Her little stunt diminishes Australia on the world stage. Hundreds of Australian athletes who will have dedicated their entire lives to athletic excellence will be forgotten because Rachael wanted to bulk up her ResearchGate profile." If that's true, then she really did intentionally torpedo this event, not only for herself, but for everyone else who was there for the right reason, who earned their place and actually had Olympic level talent. And not only that, anyone at home who is truly skilled in this area, hoping that they might have a shot in a few years if the breakdancers of 2024 could prove that this sport deserves a spot in the Olympic Games. But unfortunately, because of these antics, attention was taken away from the people that are truly skilled. It was taken away from this event, and the opportunity to garner respect for breakdancing, particularly when it comes to the Olympics, was completely and totally ruined. So this whole thing has been a big mess. It has been really ugly, and it is really unfortunate. But there are a few side points that I think that we really need to touch on. So the first I want to touch on is, regardless of all of the DEI crap that is being pushed down our throats in every aspect of life across the globe, that says that we have to meet these standards, that we have to meet this diversity quota, and we can play with merit and skill in order to achieve at least the appearance of diversity, what really matters to people when push comes to shove is skill, is merit, is getting the things that you earn. In reality, nobody cares what color Rachael Gunn is. They care that she did not earn her spot, and that there were people far more qualified to be in this spot than her that missed out because she was able to abuse power that other dancers did not have. People really want fairness, and we know that it comes from giving people equal opportunity to succeed and allowing people to have the rewards and opportunities that they actually work for. Secondly, just because you have something going on in your brain does not make it true. Just because you believe that you are an Olympic level breakdancer doesn't make it true, and you can't force anyone else to pretend that it's true, and you can't force other people to celebrate things about you just because you feel like you deserve that celebration. And this just shows what happens when you push and cheer people along and you don't ground them in reality, and you don't ground their expectations in reality. They go through life thinking that what they have going on in their head is the truth just because everyone around them has reinforced that idea with positive attention. But eventually, the truth is going to hit, and it could be immediately, or it could be years down the road when everybody in the world is staring at you. But at some point, the truth will rear its ugly head and things will come crashing down. And you will look at people and you will wonder how so many people in their lives failed them, how so many people bought the lie or told them the lie or fueled the lie. And you have to wonder how much better off they would have been had people been honest with them from the beginning. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.